Hello, all my Lego friends. Thank you for coming back and watching my channel again. My name is Callie, for you that don't know. We've been doing the gymnastic gym for quite a while. I have a few things that I've built already, and this is not in any particular order. I think I started with, I'm going to be starting with the cafe and parking structure, and then I'm going to build kind of out. But all of these are meant to be mobile, so you can take this up and put it here, put it here. Now, this is the starting of our foam pit, right? The gymnasts do their stunts and they land into the foam pit. Maybe there's a stunt guy that comes in and just twists, right, and lands into it and sets himself high, and he goes into the foam pit, a really safe spot to do your tricks. So this is what we're building. Now, I've already built one right here. This is probably my favorite one. And I didn't use foam. I actually stuck with Legos. So technically this one is completely Legos, right? And here is the foam pit. I use these one circular pieces, right? You know those pieces? One is just like this. Actually, here we go. So these little guys. Those, if you do not have foam to make a foam pit, no big deal. Use this. Now, you guys can create your own stuff around it, right? I'm only going to be doing the actual structure with you. And of course, you can get creative. You can add signs. You can add ladders. Anything you want to add, feel free to add it afterwards. But it's really important to add everything before you add the foam, right? So if there's something you want to add it, and then look at it and go, okay, that's kind of cool. All right, I think I'm happy with it. And then add the foam. If you do want to add other things to it, empty out the foam and add to it. Now, with that said, this is one you have to create your own, and you need the space. You need permission from whoever you live with to see if you can use scissors to cut foam, to find foam, to add anything. I mean, heck, why don't you go get someone to help you and you guys could build this together? That's even a better idea. Just let them know what you're building so you guys can come up with something really cool together. So with that said, you're going to need a base and some doors or walls, right? You can add something like this, right? On its side, two together. I like adding the see-through panels because now you can see what your friends are doing. I love that. I'm going to add the smaller ones because I have most of the smaller doors. So I'm going to use these, right? And use yourself a base and figure out how you're going to add it together. Your base should be as big as what you're creating, okay? So that nothing falls through the holes. This is mine. And then you're going to find these pieces, the little L's. You don't need these. You could very well just use, something like this, right? And put that down in its place. And that could very well hold it, right? So you don't need to have these. They just look nicer, to be honest. They just look really nice. So that's what I'm using. So try to figure out how long your doors are. Maybe you have something extremely long, and then you're going to have to go longer, right? Maybe you have something kind of short, so you go shorter. It all depends on what you have. And then you're going to take doors, however many doors you want. You're going to make either a rectangle or a square. In this case, we'll use just a square. You're going to find 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 of these guys. You want to try to have 8 of these. The 1x1s, they're not as strong and they are very flimsy and you won't be as happy with it. So use these because you're going to connect them to the bottoms and tops of your door like this. Connect it just like that. And you're going to put it together like this. Sometimes they lay down the side and sometimes they go up. And it is like a puzzle, unfortunately, depending on which way you add yours. Now, if this doesn't work, right, and you try to connect it here, it might not work, so you might have to take it off and put it at the end down. See the difference? It's either going to go either way. It's either going to go either way. And it really does depend on how you do it, either front to front, back to back, back to front. It's really not wrong. You just have to kind of do it. And then that goes into here, which is why you have the circular pieces. Actually, I was wrong. So I do have to turn them. I have to turn them so that they go down. See? I knew that was going to happen to mine. I knew it. So then that goes into the bottom of that door. It goes into these little holes, right? That's what you do with that. And you do that each time to every single one of them. And at some point, it's going to fit in nicely. Now, I use down here 1x1s, but it's not as strong. See that? Not as strong. I'm not happy with that, and I kind of ran out. So it does work, just not as strong. That's it. That's all. I also used 1x1 3 times, but you get the idea, as long as it gets together. And now this should fit nicely into that little grid that you make, that little foundation, right? It's kind of like building a house, and that goes right on top. You might have to turn like that. So here you go. Now the only problem is if you turn this upside down, it's going to fall off, right? So that's where this comes into play. That's where this comes into play. Find yourself 4 corner pieces. It's going to go here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Something that is tall and that can attach to something that goes straight across. It's going to lock it down, okay? So that's what you want. You want it to lock down and not move. This does not move at all. This stays pretty nice together. So with that said, go find your pieces and start adding them. You can pause the video and just start adding stuff. Now for me, I thought it'd be nice to have that piece tall and add 3 of those, right? That's how I did mine. And then I'm going to add that to one side. I might even just turn it. So it's going to look like that, right? I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Now, again, you ideally want the same to be on each side to look nice, but I'm just showing you that anything really does work. Anything that you have works. So I'm going to lock that into place on the other side. Whatever you use the same on the other side. Now, what could I use next? This one maybe? I use that one. If I use that one, I'm going to have to use nope, that does not work. Jeez, I don't have hardly any pieces of, okay. We use this one and this one. That will be on the other side. We use this together because it makes it really strong, okay? So we use that on the other side, which goes nicely to here. Now the only problem is I have to build up because again, it's shorter than the other side. See that? That's much shorter. Nothing's gonna ever go across there. Now this is, no, that has to go up too. That's gotta go up by 1 little spot. That's gotta go up by 3 or just 1 brick. So if I find one that has 3 or one that has 1 brick, here we go. So if I do that, no, that doesn't work. This is all kind of like a game. This is all kind of like a game. Let's see. And you really can use any piece as long as I chose to use that. I'm just putting stuff together. It really doesn't make a difference what you use, to be honest. What if I used that piece and I went like this? So I just combined this. I only need 2 of like this space here. It doesn't matter what I use as long as it gets me 2 up. And that's what I've created. I just needed to have something that gets me 2 up. So as you can see, it looks very weird, right? It looks very odd, but it's definitely level to here. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that's going to be level, right? I don't care what you use. I mean, literally, if I don't have a piece that you have, I can use something else, utilize what I have, right? And then you take any piece that's long. Again, I would much rather have something shorter, like a small plank, like a straight piece, like that, right? Like really thin, but I don't have that really. I mean, maybe I can do a 2-piece. I'll do a 2-piece. And this is also exaggerating. Here we go. So I'll use that piece. And the idea is to press it down so it doesn't come out. That's the idea. So if I do that, it goes really nice. Again, you have to kind of eyeball it because they are all so different. All right, now I can do the same thing on the other side. So now this side also has to have something going over, which looks like this is good. Now remember, this is not the end of what you're building, because now that's just the beginning of what you're building. Like this is now the, okay, that just happened. Okay, so let's just put that right back on there. You see how strong that was. Okay, I just add it right back to where it was. I'm actually really impressed. The thing with kerplunk and it still is together. All right, so with that said, if you have a nice strong base, you can now add stuff to it. What do you want to add to your gymnastics pit? Now remember, yours could be longer. The longer you have it, the more activities you can do with this pit. Ideally, I would like to have a pit that goes completely across my gymnastics gym, right? Think of all the things you can do. You could do rope climbing, you could do rope swinging, you can add a rock wall, you could do balance beams, floor exercise. I mean, you could do so much if you had a very long pit. But my space is not, I mean, I guess I could. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. I'll see. Maybe at the end. Stay tuned. Maybe the very last one I'll do a giant pit. But this is my pit for right now. Now, what could you add to it? You can add stairs, right? So a little ladder. Put that there. Now I've added a ladder. You could add, what else could you add? A hand railing. Something to put here. There you go. Maybe you can just hold onto the railing and go up, right? So you could literally add anything you want to add to this. Anything you want to add to this. You could also make your own ladder. Do I have one? Do I have little grippies? Let's see. All right, I do not. But anyhow, so this is basically the idea of your gymnastics pit. Now, whatever foam you've made, you can now add it to the pit. Right? Do it carefully. Pick up anything that might fall down. You don't want to have any animals eat any of the foam pieces, right? You don't want siblings coming and swallowing any of these. So you really need to clean up as you would when you're playing with the smaller Legos, right? You don't want to leave everything behind. But this is the pit. You can see inside all the pretty blue coloring, right? All the pretty blue coloring. And yeah, so there you are. I hope this was a fun build. I hope you were able to do something better than mine. I want to see it. So if you are allowed to copy and share, I'd love to see what you've come up with. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming to Lego Creation. We'll see you again next time.